Well, the Eldar range refresh for 40k is fully underway now, and it looks like it's going to be both comprehensive and seriously beautiful. And this poses somewhat of a problem for me because, well, I don't play 40k anymore, but I have recently been getting into Grimdark Future by One Page Rules, and just the recently previewed stuff alone makes for a pretty well-rounded looking 2,500 point list that looks like it could be pretty good fun to play. So yeah, while I don't play 40k, they were my first childhood army, they're my OG love, and they're what got me into 40k. And with Grimdark Future now being a thing that I'm interested in, my wallet be damned, I could be about to buy back in. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do a bit of a retrospective comparison of all of the stuff that's sort of recently appeared in official previews. I'll compare it to the old sculpts and see if it really is the time to start thinking about buying back into Space Elves. Or Aeldari, if you must. But of course, before we do that, I do have to ask you to please consider giving this video a like, maybe dropping a sub to the channel as well. Not only does it really help the channel, but by growing the channel, it allows me to shine a broader light on some of these other game creators out there, like One Page Rules and Corvus Belli, for example, that you see on the channel regularly. Okay, so now let's make a start. First of all, going back to the first previews that we saw as we sort of opened up into 2022. The obvious starting point would be the new Guardians, because let's face it, these old ones were, whilst not the oldest Eldar sculpts, definitely amongst the most tired looking. It was also the preview of these that got us all excited in the first place for new Eldar. Whilst I'll be the first to criticise that GW still don't quite seem to be able to nail faces often enough for my taste, what we mainly see in these new ones is just a general tightening up. Everything just looks sharper without any radical changes in design that perhaps wouldn't have gone down so well with the community. And in all fairness, the new faces are much better than the old ones, even if they're still not quite there. So this one gets a buy from me. It's a subtle but entirely positive improvement, and at LGS discount prices, these shouldn't be too much of a bank breaker. So the old Autarch is a bit of an odd one. I mean, the model doesn't look dated or in any way crappy. It's a really nice miniature and always has been. So it would be easy to wonder why the Eldar community is so excited for a new Autarch. And there's a number of very valid reasons that all fall under the same umbrella. Customization. You see, the Autarch is kind of a Swiss Army elf. It has loads of loadout options, and the old model, well, it didn't really cover them all, which is fine if you like converting or if you want one of the loadouts that it did do, but left a lot of players without a model to accurately represent their Autarch. The new one has customization in droves, and whilst the sharpening up is a bit less noticeable to the far less venerable OG model, it's still a very pretty bit of plastic. So this one also gets a buy from me. It's likely to fall in at around 20 quid at LGS discount prices, and they actually made it backwards compatible with the old one too, which feels like a great inclusion. The old Warlocks have so much nostalgic beauty to them. They're honestly, for their time, absolutely stunning models, and at one point would have been a flagship representation of just how beautiful metal miniatures could be. But alas, time is a cruel beast, and in 2022 the old Warlocks are looking just a bit tired, with their wobbly staves, chunky blade edges and stiff posing. The new Warlocks, on the other hand, fix these issues nicely. They have heads or helmets as options, way more fluid posing, and the advantages of plastic meaning that they don't have that weird blocked out skirting. All around, the new Warlocks might be the Eldar release I'm actually most excited for. So obviously this one also gets a buy from me, and I'll admit, it's a bit scummy of GW packaging them in 2s when people will probably want them in 1s or 3s, but these are nice enough that I'll absolutely be gritting my teeth and buying them. When we think of the Eldar avatar, we mostly think of this old bean, looking all short and derpy and not really being a great representation of the Eldar war god. However, we must also bear in mind that the avatar did get an update from Forge World to this spear-wielding version, who, whilst appropriately sized for sure, was unfortunately an absolutely awful miniature in terms of casting quality. So the super recent announcement of a new plastic avatar that is both excellent in terms of looks and promises to have at least a fair chunk of modern quality of life in it has people understandably very excited. And using extrapolation, we can see that this new model is going to be a big chap. At just under 4 inches tall, it will definitely stand out. But this one is probably my first maybe, and it's because, well, it's probably going to be really expensive. I'll be absolutely staggered if RRP on this is under £70 and not at all surprised if it's more. So whilst it's definitely the best avatar yet, it might be expensive enough to at least give you pause for thought. Okay, so now we get to the part of the video where we're into recent times, and there's just been a bunch more Eldar previewed at the Las Vegas Open. Now, these previews are very recent. At the time of recording this, I woke up to them. So I think it's a little bit quick to maybe make verdicts that are too certain, so we're going to give these a bit of a different treatment and just look at them all together, because they're so fresh. First of all, we got a dump of new units altogether, which was actually also where we first saw proper pictures of the new avatar. And amongst that was where we first saw some of the different options that would be available on the new model. And that helmetless version with the white hair and the axe, yeah, that's the version that's finally sealed it for me and made me think I'm probably willing to spend the cash. We're also treated to a new Morgan Ra as part of this reveal, and this is another glow up I'm really happy with. Apparently there's been some controversy over the faces on this model and some others similar to it. But come on, compared to this? I mean, sure, the old face looks more evil and foreboding, but overall this is a really nice update to a very popular sculpt. New shining spears were a nice surprise and look decent. We see some subtle rework into the bike itself whilst preserving the classic silhouette, alongside some serious rework into the dynamism of the riders. Let's face it, the old ones were past it, and were basically just glorified Guardian jet bike riders. I'm all around entirely happy to see these minis retire. And there was one extra juicy part of this preview too, as we get to see a full army shot here, which both features the new Eldar Rangers and the new Dark Reapers, which I don't think have had their own proper preview yet, or if they have, then I couldn't find it when I was researching for this video, and as we know, GW love to just randomly take articles down from Warhammer community, so maybe it's just not there? I believe the Rangers are due in the upcoming Eldritch Omens box, which is why I was surprised to not see a preview for them. And it's probably safe to expect the Reapers to launch with Morgan Ra, whenever that may end up being. It also looks like GW have taken down the old Rangers from their online shop, but as we can see from the old Reapers here, these are again models that fall into that similar line of welcome refreshes without drastic changes. So again, it is a little early to make final decisions here, but I think everything that we've seen here is a welcome update. And if you're looking to get into Eldar, it's probably worth waiting for these new sculpts over buying the existing ones. Okay, I'll be honest, we know sod all about if these units are going to even see 40k profiles or not. And if they don't see 40k profiles, it's probably a pretty safe bet that one-page rules will also not bring them through into Grimdark Future. But if they do, it's something worth paying attention to. Eldar pirates have been a thing since the dawn of 40k. So this Corsair kill team for Nachmund, I don't know. So this Corsair kill team for Nachmund could be an exciting signpost of further expansion of the Eldar line. Do I think the eye patch, gold trim and exotic bird are literal eye roll levels of typical GW trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator? Yes, I absolutely do. But I also am a bit of a mark, and especially when it comes to Eldar, so if Eldar pirates do come out as a faction, it's probably pretty likely I'll want some. Now these I'm not going to lay a final verdict on because, well, we just don't know if it's relevant. If they don't make it into 40k, the chances are they won't make it into Grimdark Future, and if they don't make it into Grimdark Future, I probably don't care about them. Unless maybe they're an interesting option for Grimdark Future Firefight. And that gets us about up to date on new Eldar previews so far. That's, I think, everything that's had an official article that I could at least find on the Warhammer community website. However, there are also a ton of rumours flying around about new Eldar releases at the moment, with more new Aspect Warriors and even Grav Tanks rumoured to be coming out, so it looks like we could be on the cusp of a full, comprehensive range refresh taking place over the coming months or maybe years. It's definitely a really exciting time to like the pointy ears, especially since there's such an interesting army in Grimdark Future as well, which is a game that I'm having a hell of a lot of fun getting into. I'm really interested to know, are you planning to buy this new Eldar stuff? If you are, drop me a comment below. I'd also really like to know where you plan on using it. Grimdark Future Firefight, Warhammer 40k, Kill Team, etc. In general, I'd just be really interested to hear your thoughts on these new miniatures, because this is the first time in a long time that a set of releases from Games Workshop has got me really genuinely excited. So with that, I'm gonna head back to my computer now and concoct some more lists for Grimdark Future and try and get a definite idea of exactly which models I'm gonna be buying and when. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next one, and bye-bye for now.